اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك.
National Hajj Commission has made the necessary for your comfort.
The preparation is very good.
I'm very happy, extremely happy, because this is my first time.
And I prepare to follow the rules and regulations given to me.
اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك له. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Glad to have you join me on this edition of the program as you answer the call. I am Rashida Abubakar, your regular anchor. After the Hajj exercise, the journey back home by Nigerian pilgrims is now on the way. Ahead of the homeward journey, NAHCON held the usual stakeholders post-Arafat meeting in Mecca. In this spotlight segment of the program, we shall bring you the details of what transpired at the meeting and the import of the deliberations on Hajj operations generally. Also in the program is Making the Hajj, and the discussion is on what pilgrims should do in Mecca after performing the Hajj. The edition has other regular segments such as NAHCON News Diary, which highlights the activities of NAHCON and other stakeholders in the Hajj industry. Stay with us for this and more.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. As usual, we'll begin the program with the news diary. Topping the lineup, NAHCON begins post-Arafat operation, meets Saudi authorities over services in Mina. Plus, the journey back home underway. Stay tuned for this and more. Keep watching.
In a move to manage the fallouts of the tents and feeding challenges faced by Nigerian pilgrims during their stay in Mina and Arafat, the management of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria NAHCON and other stakeholders have held talks with officials of the establishment of Mutawif for pilgrims from Africa and non-Arab countries known as Muassasa. While appreciating the Saudi government for its efforts in Hajj management, NAHCON chairman Alhaji Zikrullah Kulle Hassan however lamented the shortage of space for Nigerian pilgrims during the stay in Mina.
First is the issue of the tent. Our belief is that the same tent that we used for last year's Hajj of about 43,000 is the same tent we used for 95,000. That's our belief. There is no way it can be adequate, because last year's sale was nearly managed. So at that point, we already knew as people were going to Muna ahead that this year, with or without illegal invasion, the Muna challenge is going to be there. And this is not a good one for the pilgrims who have looked towards a very enjoyable Hajj.
Touching on the feeding challenges experienced during the stay in Mina, Alhaji Zikrullah said apart from being inadequate, there was the problem of late delivery of food, which was also not prepared to the taste of Nigerians.
Our only contribution as far as catering is concerned is just the menu. Other contributions is maybe to pay. We have no other contributions. We don't know the caterers. We have done our own side. But what's our observation from the pilgrim? Sometimes you can give me even possibly a food worth maybe 100 Saudi riyal. But if it's not a food I'm used to eating, you have just wasted your money.
He then asked the Muassasa to allow Nigeria control its feeding arrangements in the future, while welcoming the idea proposed to resolve the tent challenges. Executive Secretary of Adamawa State Pilgrims Welfare Commission Alhaji Salihu Abubakar spoke on behalf of the 36 states, the FCT, and the armed forces, while Association of Hajj and Umrah Operators in Nigeria was represented by its president, Yahya Nasidi.
The Muassasa is taking a risk by insisting on feeding pilgrims in Mashair.
For us as businessmen, we see things from a different perspective. You people are businessmen too. We are. We wouldn't want to lose our customers. The moment your customer does not get what he pays for, tomorrow you will not see him. And that's why for us it's so bitter. Despite the fact that the chairman is giving you thanks, sorry, we are not. Sincerely, we are not. Because we didn't get what we paid for.
Responding, Vice Chairman of Muassasa, Badr Ali, says all the issues raised by Nigeria will top the agenda of their review meeting and then come up with a solution.
I think one of the concerns that you have been mentioned, it's the feeding concerns, okay? That's the menu of our brothers in Nigeria wasn't have the touch of the Nigerian foods, okay? The other things that it's about the tents spaces. Small comments I would like to add it regarding this point. As you know, the tent spaces, MENA spaces are limited, okay, which is given to us. And we try to make the space between each Hajjis, okay, less than the regular. So sometimes we went through 0.80, okay, between each Hajj, okay, to have the space, make it enough for our Nigerian Hajjis.
Sequel to the meeting with Muassasa, NAHCON has set up an 8-man committee to review the services rendered to Nigerian pilgrims in Mina and Arafat, otherwise known as Mushair. NAHCON Commissioner of Policy, Personnel Management and Finance, Alhaji Noor Hassan Yakase, constituted the committee on behalf of the Commission's chairman, Alhaji Zikirullah Kulle Hassan. The decision to form the committee was part of the resolution adopted at the end of the meeting between NAHCON, states, the FCT, armed forces and tour operators, which took place at the Commission's office in Makkah. Secretary to NAHCON, Dr. Abdullahi Rabi Ukwantagura, heads the committee. The terms of reference of the committee are to establish the services provided as contained in the contract for all packages, to establish services not rendered, to seek for compensation or refund as the case may be, and to recommend mitigation strategies for future exercises. In other news, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has commenced the airlifting of Nigerian pilgrims back home, beginning with more than 400 pilgrims from Sokoto State. Flynas Airline kicked off the return journey on Tuesday this week at King Abdulaziz International Airport in Jeddah. Prior to their departure from Mecca, the pilgrims said they are delighted having completed the Hajj successfully.
Alhamdulillahi muna mu Allah godiya bisa ga wannan aikin da an kai kuma da jagororin da sun ka gabance mu Allah ya biya su da alheri. Bayan haka nan muna roƙon Allah abinda duk mun kai Allah ya sa karɓaɓɓe ni.
Ina mai matuƙa cike da farin ciki saboda Allah ya nuna mana wannan rana ta ga mun zaka mun kammala aikin hajji lahiya lau. Gaskiya babu abinda za mu ci sai dai mu wa Allah godiya.
Nigeria has so far airlifted more than 4,000 pilgrims in 10 flights carried out by Flynas, Azman and Peace Airlines. The pilgrims are those from Sokoto, Zamfara, Jigawa, Lagos and Osun states. NAHCON plans to conclude the airlift back home in the first week of August.
Alhamdulillah, if you're just tuning in, the program is As You Answer the Call. sponsored by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, to keep you informed about the activities of the Commission and other Hajj-related matters. The routine post-Arafat meeting, just like the pre-Arafat meeting, is an event that offers stakeholders the opportunity to review the arrangements put in place for the Hajj exercise, particularly in Mina, Arafat and Muzdalifah, and many more. Like other previous Hajj exercise, we shall be taking you through the 2023 post-Arafat meeting, which took place in Mecca. Stay tuned for the details in our Spotlight segment. Don't go away.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك.
Kindly accept Allah.
The 2023 Hajj has come and gone, with over 2 million pilgrims participating. Out of this figure, close to 100,000 were Nigerians. With the Hajj over, it is now a period of stock taking, and consistent with this tradition, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, held the usual post-Arafat stakeholders meeting. It provided stakeholders the opportunity to take stock of Mashari activities and also highlight the plans for the journey back home. Participants at the meeting include NAHCON officials, executives of state pilgrims welfare boards, agencies and commissions. Others are ulama, members of diplomatic corps and officials of airliners, as well as lawmakers. Making his remarks at the occasion, NAHCON chairman Alhaji Zikrullah Kulle Hassan appreciated all stakeholders for their support and cooperation during the Hajj exercise. He then clarified and defended the decision of the commission to have some pilgrims to stay outside the Markaziyah area in Medina for a while.
They did not stay outside Markaziyah throughout the entirety of the program. But I think at that stage, it is either we allow them not to sleep at all, to sleep at the airport or nowhere. And why is this so? Because we are rushing pilgrims, not only out of Nigeria, but actually to Medina. Not just because of any reason. The truth is that there were not even slots for them to fly to Jeddah. There were not enough slots to fly to Jeddah. Most of the slots were to Medina. Actually, over 80%, or actually over 90% of the slots we got were straight to Medina. The few ones that we got to Jeddah also traveled to Medina by road. So for us, it was clear. The pilgrims must be out of Nigeria to perform Hajj. At our meeting, inshallah, day after tomorrow, we can review this and look at whatever are the issues behind it. But I think I must make this very clear. It was not the entirety of the Kaduna or Adama pilgrims that stayed outside Markaziyah. It was a flight that went on a particular night. And I said, if the whole of the hotel is filled up, please put them somewhere. And then after, I insisted that they must not be there throughout the duration of their program. On a particular night when there was vacancy, I insisted all of them, I was monitoring that all of them be moved into the 5-star hotel.
Making his submission, NAHCON Commissioner of Policy, Personnel Management and Finance, Nura Hassan Yakase, spoke on the payments made to service providers, committees and tour operators' international bank account.
Our service providers, that is Makkah and Medina accommodation providers, our caterers, we have paid the initial 20%. And another 50% is going to be paid from tomorrow, when there's 3 to 4 days to come, inshallah, while the balance will be paid after reconciliation. For the airlines, we have paid the first tranche, that is 50% payment. All of them, that is the 5 airlines, including the airline for the tour operators. What is remaining now is the second tranche, which is about 35%. That one has also been deposited at the Central Bank of Nigeria. But I believe that most of us here are aware of the status of the dollar in the country. That is what delayed the payment for the second tranche, that is the 35%. We shall have been paying them the 10% now. Anyway, we should also do it, then after reconciliation we'll pay the 5%. For the tour operators, unlike last year when we have a lot of challenges, this year I can say alhamdulillah, it is very smooth. We have transferred postponed to over 200 tour operators into their IBAN account, I can say without tears. It has gone smoothly without any problem.
NAHCON Commissioner of Planning, Research, Information, Statistics and Library Services, Sheikh Suleiman Momo, had this to say.
Whatever issues that follows, as we experience them at the Mashair, briefly in the few days of our being there, which actions were taken, and before we left there, at least significant percentage of successes were achieved. It's also a thing that we will thank God for.
On his part, Commissioner of Operations Alhaji Abdullahi Bagaji Hardawa highlighted the importance of complying with the regulations on luggage handling, saying that the weight allowed for the main bag is 32 kilogram and 8 kilogram for the handbag.
The issue of 8 kg hand luggage, that is very important to us, and that's what I want to remind us. Many of our pilgrims, particularly the females, are in the habit of taking along with them multiple hand luggage. Some at the back, some are on top of their heads, all the two arms holding additional luggage. This time around, it will not be allowed.
The Commissioner said for those with excess luggage, NAHCON has made provision with cargo carriers for pilgrims to pay and have their luggage ferried to their chosen destinations. NAHCON Director of Administration and Human Resource, Dr. Ibrahim Sodangi, and the Chairman, Forum of Executives of State Pilgrims Welfare Boards, Agencies and Commission, Idris Al-Makura, also made submissions at the meeting.
Early preparation will also help us. As I said earlier on, the 2022 Hajj has come and gone, but this is also the beginning of preparation for the 2024 Hajj operation. We have to start it right now.
My observation for the whole state, we observed that tents provided in Mina were grossly inadequate to the extent that good numbers of our pilgrims who had to stay outside the tent under the scratching sounds. This scenario is unfortunate for the guests of Allah to be exposed to this hardship.
On the plans for the airlifting of Nigerian pilgrims back home, Head of Aviation at NAHCON, Engineer Umar Gonisanda, said the airliners are ready for a smooth airlift exercise.
Now, in terms of the readiness, Max Air, they have 3 aircraft ready for the operation. While Flying Us, they have 6 aircraft for the return journey. Air Peace, they have 2, while Azman and Aero have 1 each. So you can see that all are ready for the operation back to Nigeria.
He also spoke on the 5-liter Zamzam water, which will be given to each pilgrim as they arrive in Nigeria.
You know, the Zamzam policy now is no pilgrim is allowed to buy Zamzam in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So most of the airlines have already taken the Zamzam to Nigeria. Some states are already in the custody of the Zamzam. Some are under our zonal offices, and before we go back, inshallah, the Zamzam will be ready for the collection of the pilgrims.
Similarly, presentations were also made by other stakeholders, particularly heads of various committees. The fundamental objective of the stakeholders gathering is to seek ways of improving on Hajj management and as well to ensure that pilgrims get value for their money in the course of the Hajj. NAHCON is expected to hold further stakeholders meeting in Nigeria, during which it will also review the 2023 Hajj in its entirety.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
MashaAllah. Coming up next is Making the Hajj. Tonight, Dr. Abubakar Muhammad Birnin Kudu takes us through discussions on what pilgrims should do in Mecca while waiting for the journey back home. Let's hear him.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك.
With the Hajj rites over, pilgrims have started returning to their various countries. But while waiting for their flight, they are expected to take advantage of the stay in Mecca to pray and offer supplications, particularly at the Kaaba.
Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught us that even
on making the Hajj tonight, Dr. Abubakar Muhammad Birnin Kudu explains what pilgrims should be doing while in Mecca after the Hajj. He begins by highlighting the concept of Hajj.
Hajj being one of the 5 pillars of Islam and the fundamental basis upon which the religion of Islam is based, having the chance to perform it makes one a different person, and this is what is expected of every pilgrim and every Muslim who Allah has chosen to perform the pilgrimage should feel. He should feel that he has been chosen. He should feel that Allah has chosen him and given him this chance to become a different person.
Why are pilgrims encouraged to observe more daily prayers at the Kaaba?
Performing one single prayer, that will attract the reward of about 100,000 salah performed in other places other than Mecca. This itself is an incentive to make you attracted to the Haram.
What other acts of worship can pilgrims also engage in at Haram while waiting to be transported back home?
If one is able to perform the tawaf with ease, then that is most recommendable, because it is in place of the usual nafil. 2 rak'ahs you pray, another 2 rak'ah, another 2 rak'ah. In place of that, if you are able to perform the tawaf, that is better as somebody who is coming from another place, not living in Mecca.
Pilgrims are also expected to seek for forgiveness from Allah, among other supplications.
So if you go to the Haram, you supplicate. At home, you supplicate. Wherever you are, you supplicate. Allah will listen to you. And there is no specific dua for staying in Mecca for you to say. But whatever you wish, you know that every individual has his different needs. And Allah has given him the chance to express himself in telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although Allah knows everything, but let you feel humbled. Because that humility in you is what Allah wants. He wants you to feel that you need from Him. So devote yourself, give all your energy in asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever you need.
The Islamic scholar said pilgrims should also be their brothers' keepers during this stay in Mecca. Most importantly, pilgrims should perform Tawaf al-Wada, or the farewell Tawaf, before leaving for their respective countries. Dr. Abubakar Muhammad Birnin Kudu admonished pilgrims and Muslims generally to always imbibe the lessons embedded in Hajj rites.
Alhamdulillah, wishing pilgrims Hajj Mabrur. But before we round off the program, let's take some greetings from pilgrims to their loved ones back at home.
To wallahi be to mi hofni Alhaji Musa ha gurin, mi hofni be Umaru Bitiri ha gurin, mi hofni be Debbo Ambo ha gurin. Kanjon mi yetti soko Allah barkidi. Allah yar min jam. Allah hor min jam wal barka nabijo Allah. Mi yetti.
Na ina gaida mijina Alhaji Muhammad Balawan, yana aiki a Federal University Azare. Sannan ina gaida uwata tana da maturu anguwan gwamna, mamar mai anguwa a don etabe da maturu. Ina gaida yarana suna opposite din Yobe Scholars Academy. Ina gaishe su, akwai Ahmed, akwai Abdul, akwai Mejidda, akwai Yusuf, akwai Malam, akwai Antibalki da Kairat.
Once again, Hajj Mabrur. This is where we draw the curtain on today's program. See you same time next week with another edition of the program. But before we go, remember that you can send your messages, comments, observations and questions through our mobile phone number and other social media platforms. Once again, thanks for watching. Ma'assalam.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا